I've always been somebody that was quite reflective, meaning I see what's going on around me and I'm able to adjust. So this is like the cultural aspect of mirroring. Now, that can be a little dangerous. It's something we also call being a chameleon, because it can be, if we don't know ourselves and we're not stable and secure in ourselves, we can end up just kind of reflecting back whatever is around us. But in the tool of self-awareness, when it comes to mirroring, it's beautiful to look at our triggers. So for me, whenever I started to hear this concept of mirroring, to look at where I have my own triggers, let's say I have a friend who says something and immediately I go like, she's so direct and so annoying. Like, that's so frustrating. This was one of mine, right? Because what I grew up with, and it's a bit back to that same story, there were a few women that I knew growing up when I was young who were kind of mentors. But I can remember a few of them were quite outspoken. And the response that they got back from the world was like, you need to calm down. You need to stop being so direct and so, aggressive. And so in my mind, what would happen was I would say, okay, that's not good. I don't want that. So that was the trigger that was instilled when I was young. So now, whenever I would meet somebody, when I was discovering all of this, and I would say, she's so obnoxious. When I paused, what it was actually, when I looked at myself, right? When I stopped looking for the keys outside in the yard, but I actually turned back in, it was the fact that I was jealous. Because these were women that had no problem speaking their mind. Maybe they didn't do it as gracefully as I think that they should have. That's fine. But what it really was it was my own reflection thinking, gosh, I wish I could share so freely with what I truly am. And that ties into that whole point of the way that we talk to ourselves, because I had told myself, those thoughts that you have about opinions and what you think of other people, that's not okay. So you need to push that down and come up with something polite to say. I grew up with the saying, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. Well, there's something to that, but there's also something to vulnerability and being real. If I'm hurt and I don't share that with you, that's unfair to you. Because now I'm holding a judgment and a shadow within myself that I'm not revealing. And so it stunts my growth, and it also stunts the possibility for you to know that actually there's a boundary that's been crossed for me and I feel uncomfortable. And so in that way, I don't believe that it's just about, I always say this, not just slapping a smiley face on everything, right? Because that doesn't help anything. But what is helpful is to recognize that it's all stories. Yeah. And we're constantly telling ourselves stories. The thing is, sometimes we forget that we're the author of those stories as well.